All right. There we go. What's up, sons? It's Line with Son of a Tech once again, and today I have been promising to do a health update for you guys for the past few months. Part of the reason it's so late and so far behind is I was kind of waiting on confirmation, full diagnosis, and etc. To fully understand it. Because to be completely honest, when this particular situation, what I've been feeling, the pain, that sort of thing has been something that has not been very verifiable. There wasn't really a clear diagnosis until now. And so it felt like more of it was being, I was a little crazy or something. So, and then another disclaimer before we talk about this fully is, one, I want to make clear that this isn't for sympathy or anything like that. Primarily, I just kind of want to go over what's going on, explain why that's going to impact the content a bit, and what I'm going to try to do to change that, right? So for those that are interested, stick around. We'll talk about it. I appreciate everybody's support. For those that just want the cryptocurrency stuff, don't worry. There's a video coming out at 6 p.m. covering the cryptocurrency news for the day, but this stream isn't about that. So let's go ahead and rewind a long time ago. When I was 25, I had a bilateral dislocation and fracture of both of my hips. This means that one hip went out the back, one hip went out the front, and I fractured it. Fractured both of them. This was in a motorcycle accident, motocross accident. And I had, a bunch of other broken bones, ribs, punctured lung, bunch of other stuff along with it. It was fairly traumatic, obviously, physically. I didn't walk for up to, I think, close to a year, something along those lines. I had to be in a rehab facility, basically not for drugs or anything, but one of those rehab facilities just so you could learn to walk again, doing all the pools, all of that. So kind of fast forward a few years beyond that, and I started having a lot of back pain, especially in the lower back, and a lot of hip pain, and just various symptoms surrounding that. And my thought, of course, this is going into my late 20s, like 28, so that sort of thing, was essentially that, well, this is just all from the accident. This is something that happened to you that you're going to have to live with. You made your decision to ride. That's what it's going to be when you got metal plates in your hip, a metal plate in my right hip, and that sort of thing. And then, that kind of progressed. And to be completely honest, I didn't have any idea that anything was necessarily wrong. I go to all my doctor's appointments. They do all the typical tests. Everything that comes back for blood looks fine. There's no real indicators that I have an issue. So I just kind of move on and deal with it. And so I kind of had the mentality of like, outwork it, deal with it, right? Work out a lot, get in good shape, stay in good shape, make sure that you're building the muscle to support the injuries that I've sustained over my years of riding motocross and doing wakeboarding and all of that sort of stuff. And that led me to not really pursue much. And then a couple years ago, after I had contracted COVID for the first time, I started getting some really weird behavior in my left foot. Specifically, the left big toe would just go numb for no apparent reason. So I kind of went to a podiatrist for that, had them look at it. They told me it was Raynaud's syndrome and that was just going to be something I lived with. So I was like, okay, a numb toe, back pain, whatever, we'll deal with it, right? I stayed pretty active in jujitsu, alternative therapies. I do yoga all the time. I still lift. I have my diet pretty much on point. And so I was like, all right, well, we'll just deal with that. And then in March of this year, I woke up at 3 a.m. and had my left foot was just super swollen, right? And so I went to the ER. The ER gave me Norco, which sucked, by the way. Don't take any pain meds. I don't take pain meds as it is, so it screwed me up, and I didn't have anybody drive me home, so I just had to sleep in the truck out in front of the ER to sleep that off for a few hours. Ended up going to another ER to see if they would find something else. They didn't find anything. When then went to an orthopedic surgeon who said that there was damage to my tendons, but a lot of that didn't make sense because I couldn't like lift up or anything, and so on. So from there, it took a little bit, went to a lot of different doctors, did a lot of MRIs, x-rays, all that sort of stuff. They were debating surgery on the ankle, and then the orthopedic surgeon did a test for basically an autoimmune disorders. It's called an ANA, and I had a positive ANA test. So what that means is not necessarily that I have an autoimmune disorder, but it is definitely more likely that I have one. So then I had to schedule a doctor appointment with a rheumatologist. Well, that took basically 4 months to get in, right? So I didn't even get into the rheumatologist until last week. And so in the meantime, I did some physical therapy, but the physical therapy was getting too difficult to do. There have been days where it's been so difficult or so painful and so bad that like I just feel like I can't even get out of bed. Obviously, that impacts emotions, mood, all that sort of stuff. Now, this has been going on for a couple of years as far as like the early signs, which looking back now makes a lot of sense. One of it is basically you don't feel good in the morning or after standing up after rest. And so every morning I would be extremely irritable because I'm in so much pain. It would take like 2 to 3 hours for the pain to kind of subside. And then that's when I would go do my jujitsu and then come back home and do the work and all that. Mess with my sleep schedule because I'd wake up in pain a lot. And it just continued to get worse and worse and worse to the point to where I even had a few days where legs stopped working. I fell down and hit my head. That's why I ended up moving in with my parents because living at the farm was just too dangerous. Basically, not having somebody there to be there in case something bad happened, in case I did fall or something like that. So now that's why we use the green screen now. I have my bedroom. Yeah, I'm basically living in high school again. Woohoo! Back with the parents, but I'm very blessed that I have some good parents that'll take care of me, so I appreciate that. So I ended up got into the rheumatologist last week. They ran a bunch of blood tests, and I have all that here. And what I have is psoriatic spondylitis and ankylosing spondylitis. Now, back when they did the ANA test, I had what's known as a SED rate, which is tests your, your inflammation in your body, and that was at 20, which is 300% what the normal is. So then what ended up happening is now they tested for more stuff, and I have a gene called HLA-B27, which is a genetic marker for ankylosing spondylitis. And there's no cure for it, and there is potential for remission we'll kind of talk about that. And then my SED rate now is at 14.3. So that's just, you know, a marker for how bad my inflammation is. How did I get my inflammation down from 20 to 14.3? I think that's important to note for you guys too. So from the time it started to now, a few things that I gave up, alcohol completely cut out, nicotine cut out. And then I went to a carnivore diet, and that has taken my inflammation markers down from 20 to 14. Okay, so that's part of it. Plus, I did a bunch of detoxes, cleanses, fasting, that sort of thing to help restart the gut biome and get that in order. So that's how I've kind of gotten the inflammation down so far. Okay. So, and yeah, obviously already off sugars and wheat and dairy and all that. So, except for I do dairy, but specifically straight from the farm. So that's another thing that we could talk about, but we're off all that. And the other thing that brought it down as well is called meloxicam. It's a very powerful NSAID, but that really kind of hurts your gut. So you're kind of playing this game of like, reduce inflammation here, increase inflammation here, hurt your gut biome, hurt your immune system, all that stuff. So it goes back and forth, and it's very difficult. But to be completely honest, I can't function without the meloxicam, meaning I try to get off of it over and over again. I stop for one day, everything blows up, and I can't walk for the day. I can't get out of bed, and I'm screwed. So to work and to function, that's been the go-to to kind of function lately, is taking the meloxicam. Now, hopefully we'll get some better stuff here. Now, the problem with ankylosing spondylitis is that there's no cure, and the damage that's caused is permanent. So this is part of what I dealt with yesterday, why I didn't want to, basically they told me what I had last Friday. I was at QuakeCon, then I came back. I was not supposed to have a doctor appointment until next week, but because it's advanced, they wanted to start treatment this week. So they called me in, for yesterday. So I had to go straight back in and get basically all of the treatment started, because it's at the point to where it's causing damage to my ligaments and my spinal cord is fusing. So the goal here is to basically start a very aggressive treatment, with something called a TNF inhibitor, which is basically blah, blah, blah for stopping it. So, so that basically my spinal cord doesn't end up fusing all the way together. Now, what helped as well, but it was a temporary solution, was an epidural spinal block, where they basically go in and they block the nerve pack there, and that helped for like 2 weeks, and that was on the affected vertebrae at L1 and S2. I might have gotten that mixed up. Maybe it was L2, S1. I'm pretty sure it's L1, S2. And so those two are fused or already fused, that sort of stuff. And then there's already permanent damage to my left foot with my posterior tibialis tendon, and then permanent damage to my right heel and my right Achilles tendon. So, and I was pretty depressed yesterday, because what they told me essentially is that mobility won't come out, that damage is permanent. So, my mobility's been really bad. It hurts to walk all the time. Some days better than others, that sort of thing. So my mobility's going away, and how that's going to impact the channel is kind of weird. What I haven't been able to be at the farm much. And so at this point, like, I can't go get that work done. And I don't think that I'm at least right now, and we'll have to see how it goes over the next couple of years with treatments and all that sort of stuff, how everything plays out. But right now I'm not going to be able to. And my plan is to, once I get taken care of, wrapped up some other personal issues that are blocking me from being able to do this, I'll be taking all of my equipment and getting it hosted, because I'm just not going to be able to work on the equipment. I just can't. I'm the only one that runs the farm. I just can't do it. I've had a couple friends come out and help me move some stuff around. That's been super helpful. So thank you guys that came out and helped me with that. I have a good connection for hosting, so I don't have to worry about that, guys. I'll handle it. I have to get some other, like I said, personal stuff figured out before I can do that. Now, I was thinking I could still do a lot of the benchmarking tests, etc. So, but I can't, because I try. So this, before QuakeCon, I did a custom build, and I usually really enjoy doing custom builds. I have a lot of fun with them. This one I had no fun doing. My joints hurt, my knuckles hurt, my back hurt. I was just exhausted the whole time trying to do something that, like, normally I could do no problem. And what that tells me is, like, being completely realistic, I'm not going to be able to set up test benches, move shit around, and test all of the mining equipment to the ability that I used to be able to do. And it's just not, it doesn't feel good. Like, it physically hurts. So right now I need to stop doing that. So what we've been doing on the channel, which is behind the screen, doing the news, all that, that's what I'm going to do. But there's another thing that's really come up with me personally and emotionally as I analyze how I'm handling this and analyzing where I want to be in the future and what I want to do. And what I don't want to be in is this YouTube algorithm hell that has taken over and really destroyed, I think, a lot of the channels and a lot of the way things are approached. I was thinking about this very heavily with the Gamers Nexus, Linus Tech Tip stuff that's going on, where, like, we're just, this platform is pushing people to not come out with, to prioritize quantity over quality, right? And to the detriment of one's health. And I don't want, there are days when I wake up and I genuinely want to make the videos. I genuinely have, like, something I feel like I need to say, and I make those videos and I feel great about those. There are other days that I wake up and I say, well, I have to make a video because otherwise the algorithm's going to hate me, and I force it out and I don't have a good time. I'm done not having a good time, which means that if I wake up and I don't feel like doing a video, or I don't feel like I have something relevant to say at that time, I'm not going to do a video anymore. It's just not going to happen, right? So that means that there will be less content on the channel, but it will be more passionate, okay? So I'm not going to basically force a bunch of content out to keep up with the algorithm, because I feel like that's a lost cause as it is. So you'll probably start seeing more sparsed out content, 3, 4, 5 videos a day, or I mean a week, that sort of thing. And it'll be not on a schedule, because if I don't feel good and I need rest, I'm going to rest, because I need to take care of myself, and I'm done not taking care of myself. And the YouTube algorithm's already punished me for my views on things. It's already punished me for, trying to do the live stream thing. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I just don't want to do it anymore. That's the way it's going to go. And I'm not going to do the shorts either at this point. I was doing shorts. Shorts have a very specific audience. That the shorts are really, honestly, they're hypersexualized leaning. So if you are going to do a short and it's not hypersexualized, or it's not about cheating on your girlfriend or cheating on your boyfriend, or it's not a comedy clip, then people will just not like it anyway. So it's not the type of content I do. maybe some, I wanted to do shorts of the rigs. I think those are a good platform for shorts, but like I said, we're not going to be doing the rigs anymore either. So to wrap things up, I have psoriatic spondylitis and ankylosing spondylitis. Permanent damage has been done, affecting my mobility. I've been told that I will not get that mobility back. That's obviously affecting me emotionally, that sort of thing. And it will impact in the ways that were laid out. So that's where I'm at. If you guys have questions surrounding this, I also understand that everybody is going to have their opinions from a health perspective on this. I'm going to ask that you respect me and my decisions with how I handle it. I realize that they are everybody's opinion and it is in good faith and that they just want to help. Just understand that that's not always the most helpful thing, right? It's like if you're yelling at someone with cancer about their diet, they still have cancer. If like I still have this problem that I have to deal with. I have made most of, if not all of the dietary changes. Some people might agree or might disagree with those. Everybody's also different. So there could probably be some dude whose genetics put him in a position that it's more favorable for him to be completely vegan and eat only raw fruits and vegetables. Okay, if that works for him and that is helping him deal with whatever ails him, then I'm okay with that. I'm not going to get into arguments over any of this. I will cover my journey and tell you guys what worked for me, but I'm also not a health professional, so don't take my advice and do what I do just because you found it on the internet. You need to go work with professionals. I have both functional medicine as well as traditional medicine. I was very blessed in the fact that my functional doctor and my traditional doctor for the rheumatologist actually agree on a lot and are now working together to help me get into a better position. So that's kind of where it's at. Once again, I also don't want this for sympathy. I'm strong. I'll get through it. I think it's just not fair to not be transparent with you guys because I've always been transparent about what I'm going through. And then you guys just be like, well, why is there not as much content? Well, here's why. I mean, there's other things too, like sharing this maybe helps other people that are going through things. If I can be an example of continuing to press forward and stay strong through this, maybe that can be encouragement for other people, right? And so there's a few things that I want to be able to present to people so that they see that and feel that, right? And I think that is overall going to be net positive, at the end of the day. Now, my personal goal, is to find some support groups for similar problems. Obviously, the first Googling I do is like like the ailment and then like jujitsu. Seeing a few guys that are able to manage jujitsu and have this. So that's my goal over the next 2 years is to get into a position where I'm back practicing jujitsu full time. That's my goal personally that I have set for me, and get back into a position where I can do some more physically demanding things for, YouTube as far as like some of the testing and stuff that I want to do. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as that goes. Shoot. Another thing is like, at least now, you name the demons. When I wake up in the morning now, I do not hop on Twitter or anything because I know for a fact I'm going to be grumpy and irritable for the first 2 to 3 hours of the day. I know why now, and I know how long that lasts, and I know what to do to ease that pain. And it's very hard to describe just how painful it is. And I've had that for a very long time, and I ignored that for a very long time. So I also want to tell you guys that, like, don't do what I did. Also, the whole idea of, like, yes, you should exercise and so on, but you aren't supposed to be in constant pain. So if there's something going on, go get it checked out. This shouldn't impact my life expectancy, hopefully. So there's obvious issues. I've had the tightness of breath. And so that is because everything is kind of crushing in and tightening there. Everything gets real tight, essentially. So I am at higher risk for strokes, heart attacks, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully keeping up my cardio and trying to work through that will be good. If it's fully advanced and we let everything fuses and I don't have any option beyond that, then yes, there's a shortened life expectancy. So it's kind of one of those things. I'm just, I'm not going to accept that. So we're going to go on from there. So, that's really it. I want to say, Alnar, thanks for the super chat, $2 super chat, and TRV. Thanks for the $14.99 super chat. You guys rock. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer a couple of them, but I do got to go here in like a few minutes and go get the kiddo and all that. John asks, I'm okay to do anything I want. So I could go practice jujitsu. I mean, theoretically, right? But there's one is the pain's really high, right? So it's all pain tolerance. But yes, to answer your question, swimming's okay, and I swim every day right now, and I do yoga every day. So, those things are fine. I definitely need to do, I think looking back, of course, the irritability specifically, the anger, impacted a lot of my relationships negatively. And if I would have gotten help earlier on and figured that out, I probably could have gotten rid of a lot of probably could have been I would be in a different position. But then at the same time, I'd be in a different position, if that makes sense. And then to everybody that I've ever, come down hard on Twitter or social media or gotten really angry with, I apologize. This isn't an excuse, but it's a lot easier once you can like name the demon and then breathe through it, work through it spiritually and emotionally and all of those things, which has been kind of the go-to because I used to obsessively work out and then that got taken away from me. So I obsessively meditate now, and meditation's been a great tool. The power of being able to detach yourself from your body, which is what I practice, is what helps me alleviate a lot of the pain, etc. Babblefish, good to see you in chat. Stick Shark says, I came in late. If you can rewind, if you already talked about this, will you be able to keep the day job? My day job is from the desk. I should be fine. Technically, yes, I can file for disability. There are some benefits there that maybe I will take because I do need help. This is the other thing that I have to learn. For the past decade, I've been very solo minded on my work. I work very hard. I do not get help a majority of the time. I feel like that's some things that I have to deal with. I don't trust people, right? That sort of thing. I'm working on that. That's all part of the emotional maturity, etc. So there's that. So there we are. and I hope I hope to see you guys in the chat and stuff. A new video is coming out at 6. It'll probably stir up some controversy, as we do on this channel. But we are talking about kaspa chain integrity today. So have fun with that. There you go. So yeah, unfortunately nothing I could do about it. It's a genetic thing apparently, so it was going to happen, you know, no matter what. And then I'll tell you guys what works. The TNF inhibitors I just started this week. It'll apparently take five weeks for it to work. So there you go. And I have a couple other options at the functional doctor that I'm gonna go talk to them tomorrow about. But I'm glad I have an answer. So, you know, that helps me. You know. And then, like, I also want to encourage you guys, like, there's been a lot of self-censorship around cryptocurrency lately. We need to get rid of that. It's been something that's been bothering me for quite some time. Anytime a concern is brought up, immediately people say FUD. Look, if you really care about these projects, realize that trying to shut people up for real problems is just building a house of cards that's going to collapse on you. And so stop. It's really dumb. Doesn't mean go out and blindly attack projects. It means that if you see a genuine problem, then we need to talk about it and figure out how to fix it, right? And like, you guys can go see it on my Twitter. If I post something that's even like relatively docile that could have a negative connotation, it's personal and ad hominem attacks for days, right? But I'm not going to stop doing that just because some people don't like it. Chadwick, thanks for the $5 super chat. I shouldn't give $250 to YouTube. $250 for me and $250 for the man. Man, they tax you everywhere these days. Damn Richmond, from Richmond, north of Richmond. Is that the song? Gandalf said, elaborate on avoiding milk. I do not avoid milk, but there is, I get milk from a farm, and I make sure that the cows do not have the genetic modification. I believe it's T1A1T1, something like that. You can Google it. And that is because of the way it affects your system and your gut health. And once I switched to that, a lot of things did feel better. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.